Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be?
Welcome to a special edition of the Postgame show. I am your host, analyst from the Weekly Rebound. It's Greg Horne. I know many people are missing Connor's face right now, So am I. Shout out my boy. He did get this finals prediction right. No spoilers, but it was an insane week of Legacy Leagues action. Some of the best basketball I've maybe ever seen in this league, and I've been interning since 2016. Four amazing teams, four gauntlets just to get through. And I mean, these two games were incredible. So I think the best way to do this is just start off right away with the team that is on everyone's minds, the biggest skis, going up against Run TMC. And Run TMC ended up taking this one 65-52. And if there's one kind of name on your mind, that is Reggie Stewart. I mean, if we just want to go back and kind of look, I love the history of Legacy Leagues. Let me just read a few things for you. For you viewers that don't know who Reggie Stewart is, he's a two-time champion. He has 2,000 career points as of now. Shout out Reggie. Give him a little round of applause. He is a two-time MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. He's a 9-time All-Star, 4-time All-First Team. I think that speaks for itself. Reggie Stewart's one of these players in this league that I think if there's a Mount Rushmore in this league, you probably got Reggie, you probably got Mike, you probably got Cody Crawford from Rhode Island. And, then you can argue for that fourth spot on that kind of mountain. But Reggie Stewart is just incredible, man. When he gets going, it is just something that is so fun to watch. And he gets out of this world. He gets so hot. It honestly reminds me of a little bit of Steph Curry. Very different games. But when Reggie gets going, he will pull from anywhere. He's not afraid. And I think that's one of the things that just helps elevate this Run TMC team is they play off his energy. They play off his confidence. They play off what they get from Reggie. And what they get from Reggie is just elite scoring, elite defense, and elite leadership. And I just got to give a tip to Reggie. He just continues to do his thing. And I also want to give a shout out to the most underrated player in this league, probably for the past 4 or 5 years, or I guess seasons, and that's Eric Singleton. And I just want to say this duo has been absolutely incredible together. Reggie had 31, Eric had 24. No one else on TMC. TMC combined for 10 other points. And Will Hudson, I remember in the game, turns to me and goes, "That's the Reggie I know," after he made a step back three and got fouled. That's just what Reggie does. And I want to highlight now the Reggie and Eric duo. This duo has been playing together for a while. They really are starting to show the chemistry that they got, and it's really, really impressive just how well they play together and how much they're growing and their games complement each other. And like I said, Eric Singleton's probably one of the most underappreciated players in this league. He plays his ass off on the defensive side, but on the offensive side, he's also incredible. Didn't have a great night shooting threes, but that's kind of Eric Singleton doesn't need to have a great night shooting because he does so much on the other end. And he also is 8 for 14 from the field. So it was just from the three-point line. And, I mean, you run out of things you can say about this duo. Reggie brings kind of the offensive force, while Eric, if you're going to try to dunk on Run TMC, you better believe Eric Singleton's going right behind you, and he's going to try to pin that against the backboard. And I just got to give a big shout-out to them. And then another guy I got to give a shout-out to is Cody DiLeonardo, Captain America, my boy. He does all the dirty work. He does so much dirty work that he pisses the other team off with how much effort he puts in. And I just got to give Cody a shout out. Cody's always been one of the more underappreciated players in this league just because he plays the role that is asked of him. And that's something that a lot of guys don't do, but Cody does that to a T. So speaking of Cody, I'm going to do something new here. This is a weekly rebound first. We're going to do it. It's the Cody DiLeonardo Captain America Toughest Player of the Year award. So Cody can't win. Award's named after him. I'm going to give it to someone this year who I think just played tough, played his role, just really, really grinded it out, for the teams. Maybe he's not the highest scorer, but he just kind of gives them everything they got. And, he did a lot of ways you could go with this, but I'm actually going to go to the Trailblazers, and I'm going to go to someone who could be a fifth man of the year, and I'm going to go with Sean Sita on this one. He comes off the bench every game. He averages 12 a game, which is impressive. He shoots about 80% from the free throw line. And he really brings an effort and a hustle. I know cherry picking is something that, we look down upon in hoops culture, but in this league, it's a big thing. And Sean's always hustling down, always playing hard defense. There's just something that he does really well for this Trailblazers team because they got Jelly, they got guys that can do things out there. They don't need everyone to be scoring 25 a game. And I think he does the little things. I think he hustles. I think he shows heart. So for the first ever annual Captain America Cody DiLeonardo, toughest player of the year award, shout out my guy Sean Sita. He has had a great season, and he just kind of shows the effort and the hustle that makes Cody Cody. But I know I went on a tangent. We'll get back to the TMC Skis game where TMC did take it 65-52. I gave a lot of praise to Run TMC, so let's kind of talk about where it went wrong for the biggest skis this season. And I don't know. The skis, they had an interesting season. They started off a little slow. The team wasn't really firing on all cylinders. Then they added Vic. They really started to pick things up. Unfortunately, Vic wasn't eligible for the playoffs, so then the skis had to go into the playoffs without Vic, and they ended up beating the Flint Tropics. They looked amazing, and then they ran into TMC, and they just ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. And I think in this one, it's the lack of their three-point shooting that really, really hurt them. 6 for 30 from three is just not going to be enough against a TMC team that loves to shoot threes. And TMC was 11 of 33, so it's not like they shot lights out. But you're going to need to at least probably hit double-digit threes to be in this game with TMC. And I think that's something that the biggest skis, they respect to them. They found a great core. Justin's amazing. Miles is awesome. Jordan's good. Jaden Valderrama is incredible. And I love this team. Shout out Dev. They got some good pieces. They really figured out some good things, but I think they just they got to shore up that shooting because, Justin 1 of 9 from 3, Miles 3 for 11. It can't just be Jaden doing all the heavy lifting from beyond the arc, and that's something that I think really hurt them in this game. So going forward, they might need to figure that out, but, I just got to give Skis credit. It's not easy to, make this a game against Run TMC, and they truly did their best. It was that third quarter that really, really kind of hurt them in the end. But you got to keep your head up if you're the Skis. You had a great season. You upset Flint. You really did your thing out there. So just, flush it, come back next season, keep the core you got, maybe add a few more shooters, and I think this biggest skis team can really make some noise because they got some ballers, they got some great guys out there, and I just think the three-point shooting might be something that kind of did them in. And then, I guess the overall message of this game is just Reggie time. When Reggie wants it, he turns it around. He had a rough semifinals a few seasons ago, I believe, and then Reggie just said, you know what, flush it. Those just like I said about skis. He flushed it, came back, and drops 31 and hits 9 of threes. Goes about 50% from three and the field. 12 rebounds. Reggie is just Reggie. What else can we say about him? Reggie runs TMC. So shout out to Run TMC getting that win. It was a hard-fought game, but they pulled out a big one in the end, a big third quarter. And Run TMC will be going on to the finals to play the winner of this next game, which was Get Money Trailblazers. Well, Get Money took the win 71-70. And wow, was it a game. This was a game. This was a very, very back-and-forth game. One of those basketball games where you look up and Get Money's up 4. Next thing you know, Glazers up 1. Next thing you know, Get Money's up 8. Next thing you know, Glazers are up 6. And it was just constant turnover, free throws, 3. And I'm just going to start with Kyle Davis versus Jelly. And for those of you who don't know who Jelly is, that's Javon Chapman. And my God, were these two going at it. This was one of those games where, in NBA terms, this is like if Steph and, LeBron are going back and forth. They were just, each possession, Jelly would hit a 3. Kyle would score. Jelly goes to the line, his 2 free throws. Kyle hits a 3. Jelly drives to the hoop. Kyle drives to the hoop. It was just constant back and forth. It was so much fun to watch. These two players are 2 of the best players we have to offer. And I haven't even talked about Tyron or Xavier or Tysheen or Jacob or Jaquan, who all had amazing games. But I think really the key in this one was the last 2 minutes of the game. A lot of turnovers. I got to shout out Jacob Morales. He had an incredible play on the inbound where he jumped over, I believe it was TJ Lewis Jr. And he just, Terrell Lewis, excuse me. And he just jumped right over him, tipped that ball right out, hit his hand, and it got it right to the Trailblazers. There's plays like that just really made this game what it was. It was so hard fought. But I think in the end, Xavier McCray had his best game I've ever seen him play, and he played his best game when it mattered most. He does a lot of the ball handling when Tyron or Tysheen aren't in and Kyle, And even when they are in, they give him the ball and they kind of let him, facilitate and run the offense. And he was just on fire tonight. He played such a great game out there. And for the game-winning shot, when Kyle Davis hit a layup with about 0.1 seconds left, Xavier McCray was the one who gave him that dish. And he, after the game, I interviewed him and he told me, I told Kyle to run with me and I was just going to get him the ball. And that's kind of what Xavier brings. He's a leader on this team. He understands the flow of basketball and where everyone's moving, where they're cutting. He just gets it. This team's chemistry is great. So, I mean, it was an insane game. Like, when I say back and forth, I literally mean back and forth. Like, the last 2 minutes was a Jelly layup, Kyle layup, and then we had a few missed shots. Then we had a sequence where Jacob Morales hits a free throw. They inbound the ball to get money. Throws a full court pass to Terrell Lewis, who then slams it in, points at Jaquan Bromell, who were going at it all game. Then the next possession, Jelly misses a layup. Jaquan Bromell tips it in. I mean, it was just then back to get money. I mean, this game was just back and forth, nonstop. And this was probably the best basketball game I've ever seen in Legacy League history in my career. It was just such a fun battle. These teams are so evenly matched. I think if they played 20 times, it might be 10-10 on the series. But in the end, I got to show love to Kyle Davis. He played absolutely lights out. He has the ice. I mean, what he did for this Get Money team in this game when Tysheem bowed out and wasn't having his best game, when Tyron, was really having to work on the defensive end because they got some ballers on the Trailblazers, Kyle just was like, all right, I see Jelly doing his thing. He's not missing tonight. I got to match that. And that's exactly what he did. So got to give a shout out to them. And I just want to give a shout out to Get Money's depth. I think they're so resilient and it's impressive, and their depth is insane. They all contribute, and they're also very unselfish. You don't see any guys complaining. You don't see anyone kind of getting in their own head. They're focused on winning the game. Whatever matchups are best for them, whoever they want out there that they think is going to provide them an edge will go out there. They hustle. They play defense. And that's just something that I think goes a long way with this Get Money team. They play a full rotation most of these games, which a lot of teams don't do. And it works out every time. And that's the leadership that Get Money have. But I also want to go show some love to the Trailblazers because they had an incredible season. I'm going to do my I'm going to make a reference to an old team. I remember the Throne back in when I interned, and then we came back. I believe they won 3 or 2 games the year I interned. They were like an 18 seed. Then they came back, and they were the 3 or the 4 seed. I think they went 9-3 or maybe 8-3 one season or something. And that reminds me of this Trailblazers team. They came in last year and were a solid team. They were solid. You got Jake Morales, who's incredible, Jay Velez, and those guys doing their thing. They come back this season and they add a few guys, and they just took their roster to the next level. You bring in Jelly and Jaquan, who kind of give you that next edge of just elite superstar player. Then you add Jacob in, who's already one of those guys. And then you add guys like Jay and Sean and Alex and Brian, and guys like that just really provide some depth to your team, which is huge. I mean, I'm talking about Get Money's depth. Trailblazers is another team that has great depth, and I just got to give a shout out to all these guys. I mean, they are just all Javon, Jake, Jaquan. You guys are elite. You guys are superstars in this league, and it was incredible to watch that performance from you guys. Keep your head up. You literally were 0.1 seconds away from winning this game and going to the finals. So I got nothing but praise for the Trailblazers. You guys are ballers, and you guys did absolutely your best. My last thing I want to say is Tysheem McCray fouled out of this game, and I think he should absolutely be Defensive Player of the Year. I always say in Legacy Leagues, if you're fouling out, you're playing hard defense and you're trying out there because, as always, refs, you can agree or disagree with ref calls, but he's going up there. And I saw a sequence where Tysheem got dunked on, went down, dunked on another guy. That's part of this league that is huge. You're going to get dunked on a lot in this league. That's part of it, and that's part of playing basketball. But if you can just compartmentalize, move on, that's what makes these great players great. And I think Tysheem McCray, who's not 6'4" out there, who's not 6'5", pushing the limit, who's not 6'3", he's just pretty much my height or someone else's height. And he goes out there and plays like a big guy when he needs to. He can play defense on guards. I think Tysheem McCray is one of the best defenders and one of the best and most versatile defenders we have in this league. And I think he should be Defensive Player of the Year. So book it and spam it, Weekly Rebound. And yeah, that was the Get Money Trailblazers game. Get Money pulled it out 71-70. Insane sequence. If you guys want to see any of it, check the YouTube, check the Instagram. It was a crazy finish. Kyle Davis has got that ice, and Get Money will be moving on to the finals. to play the commissioner's very own Run TMC. So let's get into that game. We got Run TMC, Get Money. These teams did meet once before, and Run TMC did win, but big caveat, Terrell Vargas was at this game, and he had a really good game of 25 points, 9 of 13 shooting. That's what Rel does. Terrell Vargas is ineligible for the playoffs in this matchup. So first, we'll just get the cat out of the bag. Reggie versus Kyle in this Run TMC Get Money Finals matchup is going to be the big matchup here. Same as Kyle versus Jelly. It's just going to be two guys who can score going at it, and they're going to have to match each other. They're going to have to match the intensity. They'll probably be guarding each other a lot. I'm sure they know each other very well by now. I mean, it's going to be a matchup. It's going to be it's going to be a chess match because these guys, they got some interesting matchups here. You're going to have Reggie and Kyle. You're going to have Eric on Tyron. You're going to have Tysheen on someone. What are you going to do? How are you going to mix this up? Because will Eric Langston show up? Will Craig Chandler show up? There's a lot of moving pieces in this matchup, but I think the big X factor in this game is going to be Tysheen McCray and really what he can do because Eric and Tyron will probably be matched up. Maybe Tysheen and Eric will be matched up, but there's going to be someone either on TMC or Get Money who might have a favorable matchup, and that's going to be the X factor, I think, in this one. But both these teams are very similar. They have role players that stand out, that are smart, that hustle, play hard, and they have scorers that score at an elite level and guys who you can trust when that clock's ticking down and you need a big shot. You can trust pretty much everyone on the court for the Get Money and Run TMC. It's this is a great matchup. And, there's two guys I think who also will be huge X factors, and that's Xavier McCray and Brett Cody. Two guys, again, come off the bench, try to provide a spark for their team. And those guys are going to be huge because, we've all seen so many finals games before. It's very, very important to have your supplemental guys give you a 6 or an 8 or a 9 or something like that just to help because Kyle Davis and Reggie are going to give us at least 20 plus. That's going to happen. Tyron and Eric and Tysheen, and if Eric Langston goes and Craig and Will is going to hit a few threes, that's going to happen. But can guys like Brett and Xavier and Cody and Antoine and guys like that, can they provide a few points here and there that really supplements what the superstars can do in this matchup? That's going to be a big thing, I really think. It's really hard to say because, I just want to say that the big man thing it's been a narrative this year for Get Money. Everyone, including me, I said, they don't got any big guys. Well, Terrell Lewis had looked incredible last night against Trailblazers. He played phenomenal defense. So he's going to have to do another kind of, performance like that against Run TMC because if Craig goes and Eric goes, they got Will. Cody plays like a big man. He's a great big guy. He's going to have to really work down there because TMC has bodies if they're a full team. And they have bodies that are big men. They got Eric. They got Craig. Craig's long. Did you see that clip of him dunking last week? He's flying over the rim. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. I really am. But I really think this is going to come down to just what can the role players provide for both these teams because we know what the superstars are going to give us. And I think that's just really going to be the X factor in this one and really what kind of determines the game and determines the outcome. But, these two teams all year, they've had very different paths. I just kind of want to highlight what they did to get here. TMC was cruising this season. They lost to Flint Tropics week 3, 63-46, and they did not look back after that game. If anything, that Flint loss helped them because they were just flying since then. They have been the clear-cut number one team in this league since then. Reggie's been playing great. Eric's been playing great. Everything's been working for Run TMC since then. For Get Money, they've had a little different of the story. They started off nice, started off great, just taking care of business. Then they ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw with Run TMC when Rel came and everyone lost 78-71. Then Get Money goes on to play the Glazers. They lose again, 77-73. So Get Money, then they beat Flint by 10. So they're really in this, we're fighting in this. And I remember I told them, then they beat Back Outside Boys by 2. And I remember coming on this and I'm saying, just keep pushing, guys. Games like this will benefit you in the long run. And now they're here in the finals against Run TMC. And I think a schedule like they had where they played TMC, Flint, and Glazers back to back to back in the middle of the season before this playoff run, I think that was huge. I just think that was absolutely huge for them. They're battle tested. They're ready. They've played the best this league has to offer so many times. And I think they really want to avenge that finals loss they had last year. But speaking of finals losses, we got some finals losses to avenge too for Run TMC. I know Joey wants his first ring. Eric Singleton, I know, would really, really want a ring. I don't think he has a ring. I'm just going to double check, but I'm almost positive he doesn't have a ring. He does not. I know he would love to have a ring. Eric Langston's got a bunch. Brett Cody, I'm pretty sure, running Rhode Island. I think Brett Cody won with the Monstars as well. Another guy who would love a ring, Will Hudson. Like, there's guys on this team for TMC who have been fighting for years in this league. They've gotten so close so many times. I remember the Shocker City double overtime loss. I remember so many games where they were so close. The Flint year. And TMC, you're here. You're playing your best basketball. And that's kind of what you want to see. And then the same can be said for Get Money. You got guys who lost last year. Obviously, Kyle won the ring last year. But you got Tysheen. You got Tyron. You got the entire Get Money roster is back. And I know they're going to be coming and they're going to be fighting hard for this one. So it's going to be an incredible game. It's going to be probably one of the best games, again, we'll see in Legacy Leagues, just because this year's so even, so competitive, so close. And these guys want it. I know Reggie, lost to Get Money last year. I know he wanted his revenge, and he wanted that revenge this year when they played in the regular season. So now I think Get Money's going to want a little revenge. So, I'm excited. If you can't tell, I can't wait. And I think it's going to be such a great night of Legacy Leagues action. I think that's going to do it for me. I want to shout out my co-host, Connor Sauer. He went 2-0 with his finals picks. He picked TMC and Get Money to be here, and he did pick Get Money to win. So shout out to Connor. If that happens, he'll get another year where he's correct. I want to give a big shout out to all our teams that were eliminated, Trailblazers and Biggest Skis. Glazers, you guys have nothing to put your head down about. Y'all could easily be in this game right now. And if you guys come back, I fully expect you guys to be a top 2-3 seed no matter what next season. As far as the Skis, like I said, you guys played great basketball. You really impressed me and you proved me wrong. So I've been eating my crow all the past few weeks. But find a little more three-point shooting, a little more consistency. And I think you guys really got something. So shout out to the two teams that did take the loss. But to our finals teams, Get Money versus Run TMC. Two teams that have been here before, superstar players. This is what we love in Legacy Leagues. This is what we come here to see. It's this game. Run TMC. Get Money. Until next time, Greg Horne.